My name is Clara Hayes. I'm 27 years old, and this is the story of the day my family taught me that blood doesn't mean a thing if there's no love behind it. The invitation that felt like a knife. It was a Tuesday afternoon in early spring. I remember because the rain was hitting my apartment window so hard that I couldn't hear the television. I was sitting on my second-hand couch, drinking coffee that had gone cold 30 minutes ago, staring at my laptop screen, trying to finish a report for a boss who doesn't even know my name. My phone buzzed. I looked down. It was a text from my mother. No hello, no how are you, just a link to a wedding website. And then 3 words. Your sister's invite. I stared at those 3 words for a long time, longer than any normal person should stare at a text message. My heart didn't race with excitement. My heart sank because I knew my older sister, Elise, and I knew that if my mother was the one sending me the invitation, it meant Elise hadn't sent it herself. I clicked the link. The website was beautiful. White roses, gold trim, a venue that looked like a castle from a movie. Elise and her fiancé, Marcus, smiling like they were the king and queen of the world. I scrolled down to the wedding party section. Bridesmaids? 3 of her college friends. Maid of honor? Her best friend, Jessica. No mention of me. That hurt, but I told myself it was fine. Elise and I were never close. She was 5 years older. She got the looks, the confidence, the charisma. I got the quiet personality and the hand-me-down clothes. But still, she was my sister. Then I saw the guest list restrictions, a little note at the bottom of the page. Due to venue capacity, we regret that +1s are limited. Only spouses or long-term partners of over 3 years will be accommodated. I almost laughed. I had been dating my boyfriend Liam for 2 years. We lived together. We shared a dog. But according to Elise's math, he didn't exist. I called my mother. Mom, why can't Liam come? She sighed. That sigh, the one she always used when she wanted me to just accept things and stop causing problems. Clara, you know how Elise is. She wants everything perfect. She doesn't want strangers in the photos. Liam isn't a stranger. He's been at Thanksgiving for 2 years. Don't start, my mother said. Just come alone. It's one day. Do it for the family. Do it for the family. Those 5 words have ruined more of my birthdays than I can count. I hung up the phone and looked at Liam, who was pretending not to listen while he cooked dinner. I'm not going, I said. Liam turned off the stove. He walked over and sat next to me. He's a good man. Too good for me, probably. He put his hand on my knee and said, You'll regret it if you don't go. She's your sister. Sisters don't treat each other like this. Sisters do sometimes, he said quietly, but you're better than her. Go, show your face, eat the free food, then come home and we'll watch bad movies. I loved him for that. I still love him for that. So I RSVP'd yes. Just me, no +1, no role in the wedding, just a chair in the back, probably next to a cousin I hadn't seen in 10 years. The weeks leading up to the wedding were strange. My mother kept sending me messages about what to wear. Don't wear anything too bright. Don't wear white, obviously. Don't wear black, that's depressing. Maybe just beige, something that doesn't stand out. She was literally asking me to blend into the wallpaper. I bought a beige dress. Beige, the color of nothing, the color of someone who doesn't matter. I tried it on in the dressing room and looked at myself in the mirror. I didn't see Clara. I saw a ghost, a placeholder, a sister who was invited out of obligation, not love. But I decided to make the best of it. I bought a nice card. I wrote a heartfelt message inside. I even bought an expensive candle from a boutique shop because Elise loved candles. I wrapped it in gold paper and tied a white ribbon around it. I wanted to be the bigger person. I wanted to prove that I could show up, even when no one wanted me there. 2 days before the wedding, I got a call from Elise herself. I almost didn't answer. My hand shook when I picked up the phone. Clara, she said. No hey, no how are you. Hi, Elise. Congratulations. Thanks. Look, I need to talk to you about the seating arrangement. I braced myself. Okay, so we have this table near the kitchen. It's where we're putting the overflow guests. But Jessica's parents need to sit closer to the front because her dad has a bad hip. So I need to move you. Move me where? To the bar. I paused. The bar? Like the actual bar where people order drinks? Yeah, there are high-top tables there. You can sit there, it's fine. You'll still see the ceremony. Elise, I'm your sister, and you want me to sit at a bar? Clara, don't make this dramatic. It's just a seat. You're not in the wedding party, you're not walking down the aisle, you're just watching, so it doesn't matter where you sit. It doesn't matter where you sit. Those words echoed in my head for the rest of the night. I didn't sleep. I just laid in bed, staring at the ceiling, asking myself why I was doing this. Why was I spending $300 on a hotel room, buying a beige dress, driving 4 hours, just to sit at a bar at my own sister's wedding? Because my mother told me to. Because Liam said I'd regret it. Because society tells us that family is everything, even when family treats you like nothing. I decided to go. I decided to be the bigger person one last time. That was my first mistake. The morning of the wedding arrived like a storm cloud. I woke up in a budget hotel room that smelled like bleach and regret. Liam had driven me to the city and dropped me off. He couldn't stay because he had work, but he kissed my forehead and said, "Text me if you need me, I'll come get you, no questions asked." I should have texted him before I even walked into the venue. I put on the beige dress. I curled my hair. I put on a little makeup, not too much. I didn't want to look like I was trying to compete with the bride. I just wanted to look like I belonged, like I wasn't a mistake on the guest list. The venue was called the Grand Meadows. It was one of those places that rich people rent to pretend they're royalty for a day. Crystal chandeliers, marble floors, a staircase that looked like something from a period drama. I walked through the front doors and immediately felt out of place. The wedding coordinator, a woman with a headset and a clipboard, stopped me at the entrance. Name? Clara Hayes, the bride's sister. She looked down at her list, scrolled some more, frowned. I don't see you on the VIP list. VIP list? The family and wedding party are in the bridal suite. Everyone else is in the main hall. I'm the bride's sister. That's family. She gave me a tight, practiced smile. I'm sorry, the bride provided a specific list. You're not on it. I felt my face get hot, not from embarrassment, from anger. But I swallowed it. I swallowed it the way I've swallowed every insult, every slight, every forgotten birthday for 27 years. That's fine, I said. I'll just go to the main hall. I walked into the main hall and found the bar area. High-top tables, stools that wobbled, a view of the kitchen doors. I sat down and placed my gift on the table. The gold paper looked ridiculous against the cheap wood. Other guests started arriving. I watched them from my little corner. Women in beautiful dresses, men in tailored suits. Everyone laughing, hugging, taking photos, and no one looked at me. No one said hello. No one asked why the bride's sister was sitting by the kitchen. My mother walked in. She saw me. She looked at my table, then she looked away. She walked straight to the front of the room and sat next to my aunt. She didn't wave, she didn't come over. She acted like I was a stranger. That was the moment something inside me shifted. Not broke, shifted, like a tectonic plate moving 1 centimeter. The anger wasn't hot anymore. It was cold, quiet, patient. An hour before the ceremony, I decided to go find Elise. Not to cause a scene, just to say congratulations, to hand her the gift, to be a good sister, even if she didn't deserve it. I walked toward the bridal suite. The hallway was long, lined with mirrors and paintings of flowers. I could hear laughter coming from behind a large wooden door. Elise's laugh. Loud, confident. The laugh of someone who has never been told they're too much. I knocked. The door opened. It was Jessica, the maid of honor. She looked me up and down like I was a stain on her expensive dress. Can I help you? I'm here to see Elise. She's busy. I'm her sister. It'll take 2 seconds. Jessica sighed and stepped aside. I walked into the room, and I froze. There were 8 women in that room, all of them in matching silk robes that said Bride Tribe on the back, champagne bottles, a charcuterie board, a photographer taking candid shots. It looked like a magazine spread. And then there was Elise. She was standing in front of a full-length mirror wearing her wedding dress. She looked beautiful, I'll give her that. The dress was white lace, fitted, elegant. Her hair was curled perfectly, her makeup was flawless. But when she saw me in the mirror, her smile disappeared. "Clara, what are you doing here?" "I wanted to say congratulations." I held up the gift. "And give you this." She didn't take it. She just stared at me. "You're not supposed to be back here." "I know. The coordinator told me there was a mix-up with your name. I'm sorry about that, but you really should go back to the bar area." I stood there, holding out a gift that she wouldn't touch. The other bridesmaids were watching, whispering. One of them covered her mouth and laughed. "Elise, I'm your sister," I said. My voice was quiet, too quiet. "And you're making this weird," she replied. "Just go sit down. The ceremony starts in an hour." I set the gift on a table by the door. I turned around and I walked out. I didn't cry. That was the strange part. I thought I would cry. I thought I would go to the bathroom and sob and call Liam and beg him to come get me. But I didn't. I just walked back to my high-top table, sat on the wobbly stool, and waited. The ceremony began. I watched from my corner as Elise walked down the aisle. My mother was crying. My father, who I hadn't spoken to in 3 years because he left when I was 15, was sitting in the front row like he had never abandoned us. The vows were beautiful. Generic, but beautiful. To have and to hold, in sickness and in health. I wondered if Elise would hold me if I was sick. I doubted it. The ceremony ended. Everyone clapped. The reception began. And that's when everything fell apart. The reception was loud. A DJ playing top 40 hits. An open bar that everyone was using generously. I stayed at my high-top table, sipping a soda, watching my family celebrate without me. Dinner was served. I watched as the head table, the wedding party, the parents, the grandparents, ate a 3-course meal. I ate a cold chicken breast from a buffet that had been picked over by the time I was allowed to go up. The speeches started. The maid of honor gave a speech about how Elise was the most loyal person she had ever met. I almost choked on my soda. Loyal? Elise once borrowed my car for a weekend and returned it with an empty gas tank and a dent in the bumper. She never apologized. Then my mother stood up. She held a microphone. She looked at Elise with teary eyes and said, "I am so proud of the woman you've become. You've always been a leader, a fighter, a queen." Not a single mention of me. Not a, "and I'm also proud of Clara." Nothing. I was invisible. After the speeches, the dancing started. I decided it was time to leave. I had done my duty, I had shown up, I had been ignored. I could go home with my dignity, even if it was tattered and torn. I stood up from my stool, I grabbed my purse, and that's when I heard my name. "Clara, where do you think you're going?" It was Elise. She had left the dance floor. She was walking toward me, holding a glass of champagne, her face flushed from the attention. "I'm heading out," I said. "Congratulations again." "You're leaving already? But we haven't done the family photos." "Family photos?" "Yeah. Mom wants a picture of all of us. You, me, Mom, Dad, for the album." I looked at her. Really looked at her. She wasn't asking me to stay because she wanted me there. She was asking me to stay because she wanted a prop for her perfect photo. "Fine," I said. "Let's take the photo, then I'm leaving." She smiled, but it wasn't a nice smile. It was a smile that said, "I win." I followed her to the photo area. A professional photographer with a large camera was setting up by a flower wall. My mother and father were already there. My mother wouldn't look at me. My father gave me an awkward nod. "Okay," the photographer said. "Bride in the middle, parents on either side, sister on the end." I stood on the end, just like always. On the end, out of focus, an afterthought. The photographer took the picture. Beautiful. Let's do one more. Bride, can you put your arm around your sister? Elise put her arm around me. Her grip was tight, too tight, like she was holding me in place. Say cheese, the photographer said. The camera flashed. And then Elise leaned into my ear and whispered something that I will never forget. Thanks for coming, she whispered. But honestly, I only invited you because Mom made me. You don't belong here. You've never belonged anywhere. She pulled back. She was still smiling for the camera. The perfect bride, the perfect sister. I didn't react. I couldn't. My body had frozen. My mind had gone blank. I just stood there, beige press, invisible face, holding back tears that I refused to let fall. Elise walked away. She went back to the dance floor. Her friends surrounded her. My mother followed. My father disappeared. I walked back to my table. I picked up my purse. I was done. But as I walked toward the exit, Jessica, the maid of honor, blocked my path. Hold on, she said. Elise wants to talk to you. Tell her I'm leaving. She said it's important. I sighed. Fine. Jessica led me to a small room behind the bar, a storage room, boxes of napkins, extra chairs, a mop bucket. And Elise was standing there, waiting for me. Close the door, she said. I closed the door. What do you want, Elise? She crossed her arms. Her wedding dress rustled. I want you to leave. I am leaving. That's literally what I was doing. No, she said. I want you to leave right now, and I don't want you to come back. I'm confused. I'm already leaving. Then why are you still here? Why do you always linger? Why do you always make everything awkward? I'm not making anything awkward. I've been sitting in the corner all night, exactly where you told me to sit. See, that's what I'm talking about. You're playing the victim. Oh, poor Clara, sitting in the corner. You could have just not come. No one wanted you here. I blinked. No one? Not Mom, not Dad, not me. We invited you because we had to, because people would ask questions if we didn't. But we don't love you, Clara. We tolerate you. And honestly, I'm tired of tolerating you. I don't know where the strength came from. Maybe it was the cold anger. Maybe it was the years of swallowing insults. But I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just looked at her and said, okay. Okay? She repeated, surprised. Okay, I'll leave. But Elise, you're going to regret this. Not today, maybe not tomorrow, but one day you're going to need me, and I won't be there. She laughed. I will never need you. I opened the storage room door. I walked out. I walked through the reception, past the dancing, past the laughing, past my mother who wouldn't look at me, past my father who pretended not to see me. I walked out the front doors of the Grand Meadows, and then I called Liam. Come get me, I said. I'm done. On my way, he said. I sat on the curb in my beige dress, in the dark, waiting for the only person in the world who actually wanted me around. I didn't know it yet, but the night wasn't over. Not even close. Because while I was sitting on that curb, someone inside the venue was watching. Someone who didn't like what she had seen. And that someone was about to change everything. I had been sitting on the curb for about 15 minutes when I heard footsteps behind me, high heels on pavement. I turned around. It was a woman I didn't recognize. She was in her 60s, maybe, silver hair pulled back in a tight bun, a black dress that looked expensive but understated, no jewelry except a simple gold watch. She looked like someone who owned the building, not someone who was renting it for a party. Clara Hayes, she said. I stood up. Yes? My name is Margaret Delacroix. I own this venue. I didn't know what to say. Okay. She smiled. It was a kind smile, not fake like the wedding coordinators. Genuine. I saw what happened inside. I was watching from my office. The cameras. You have cameras? In the public areas. It's for security. She paused. I saw your sister pull you into the storage room. I saw you walk out. I saw you sit on my curb and cry. I wasn't crying, I said, wiping my face. You were about to, and that's fine. You have every right to cry. What happened to you tonight was cruel. I didn't know why this stranger was talking to me. I just wanted to go home. Thank you, but my boyfriend is on his way. I'll be fine. I'm sure you will be, but I want to tell you something first. She stepped closer. That wedding contract, it's ironclad, and it has a clause that most people don't read. A clause? A behavioral clause. It says that the bride and groom, as well as their guests, must treat the venue staff and other guests with respect. Any violation, any verbal abuse, any public humiliation, any disruption gives me the right to terminate the event immediately. No refunds, no warnings. I stared at her. Why are you telling me this? Because your sister just violated that clause. I have her on camera, in a private room, verbally abusing a guest, her own sister. That's a violation. But she's the bride. You're not going to kick out your own bride. Margaret Delacroix smiled again. This time it wasn't kind. It was sharp. I've been in this business for 40 years, Clara. I've seen brides throw tantrums. I've seen grooms get into fights. I've seen mothers-in-law try to redecorate. But I have never seen someone pull their own sister into a storage room to tell them they're unloved. She reached into her pocket and pulled out a set of keys. The venue closes at midnight. It's currently 9 o'clock. I'm about to give your sister a choice. She can either apologize to you publicly in front of all her guests, or I shut down the wedding right now. My heart started racing. You can't do that. I can, and I will. She looked at me. Do you want an apology? I thought about it. Really thought about it. Did I want Elise to stand up in front of everyone and say she was sorry? Would it even be real? Or would it just be another performance, another way for her to play the victim? No, I said. I don't want an apology. Margaret raised an eyebrow. Then what do you want? I want her to feel what I felt, just for 1 minute. I want her to know what it's like to be invisible, to be unwanted, to be told you don't belong. Margaret nodded slowly. I can't make her feel that, but I can make her remember this night for the rest of her life. She turned and walked back toward the venue. I followed her. I don't know why. I should have stayed on the curb. I should have gotten in Liam's car and driven away. But something pulled me back inside. Margaret walked through the front doors. The music was still playing. People were still dancing. Elise was in the middle of the dance floor, laughing, spinning, the center of attention. Margaret walked to the DJ booth. She said something to the DJ. The music stopped. The room went silent. All eyes turned to the woman with the silver hair and the black dress. Good evening, Margaret said. Her voice was calm but carried across the room like a bell. My name is Margaret Delacroix. I am the owner of this venue. Elise stopped dancing. She looked confused. Is something wrong? Yes, there is something very wrong. She pulled a tablet from under the DJ booth. On the screen was the security footage. She turned it so the crowd could see. It was grainy, but clear enough. Elise and Clara, the storage room. The words weren't audible, but the body language was unmistakable. Elise pointing, Clara shrinking, Elise crossing her arms, Clara walking out with her head down. What is this? Elise said, her voice shaking. This is you, violating the behavioral clause in your contract. Verbal abuse, public humiliation of a guest, your own sister. The crowd started murmuring. My mother's face went pale. My father looked at the floor. That's not, Elise started. I have audio too. Would you like me to play it? Elise's mouth opened, then closed, then opened again. No words came out. Here is your choice. You can apologize to your sister right now, in front of everyone, And I mean a real apology, not a performance, or I shut down this wedding. The music stops, the bar closes, the lights come on, and every single person here goes home. You will not get a refund, you will not get your deposit back. You will have spent $30,000 on a party that ended at 9 o'clock. The room was so quiet I could hear the ice melting in someone's drink. Elise looked at me. I was standing by the entrance, still in my beige dress, still invisible to everyone except the woman who owned the building. "Clara," Elise said. Her voice was small now, not confident, not loud, small. "I'm sorry." "Sorry for what?" Margaret asked. Elise swallowed. "Sorry for what I said." "That's not an apology," Margaret said. "That's a sentence. Try again." Elise's eyes were wet. Whether from anger or shame, I couldn't tell. "I'm sorry for telling you that no one wanted you here. That was wrong. I was being cruel." "Go on," Margaret said. "I'm sorry for making you sit at the bar. I'm sorry for not putting you in the wedding party. I'm sorry for treating you like you didn't matter." She looked at me, really looked at me, maybe for the first time in our entire lives. "You matter," she said. "I'm sorry." I stood there for a long time. The whole room was waiting. My mother was crying, my father was shifting his weight from foot to foot. The bridesmaids looked like they wanted to disappear. And I realized something. I didn't want her apology. I didn't want her to feel better. I didn't want to be the bigger person anymore. "Okay," I said, just like I had said in the storage room, just one word. Then I turned around and walked out of the venue. Behind me, I heard Margaret say, "The wedding may continue, but I'll be watching." I walked out into the night. Liam's car was pulling into the parking lot. I got in, I didn't say anything. He didn't ask. We drove home in silence, and I thought the story was over. It wasn't. The days after the wedding were strange. My phone blew up with texts. My mother, "How could you embarrass your sister like that?" My aunt, "You should be ashamed." My cousin, "That was savage. I loved it." I didn't respond to any of them. I went back to work, I sat at my desk, I answered emails, I pretended like nothing had happened. But something had changed inside me. The cold anger that had been sitting in my chest for years had turned into something else. Clarity. I realized that I had spent my entire life trying to earn love from people who were incapable of giving it. My mother, who always chose Elise, my father, who chose himself, my sister, who chose anyone but me. And I was tired. Liam noticed the change. "You're different," he said one night, in a good way. "I'm done being a doormat," I said. "Good. What are you going to do about it?" I didn't have an answer, not yet, but I started thinking, planning, watching. A week after the wedding, I got a call from an unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something told me to pick up. "Hello?" "Clara, it's Margaret Delacroix." I sat straight. "Mrs. Delacroix, hi." "I'm not calling to check on you. I'm calling with a business proposition." "A business proposition?" "I own 3 event venues in this city. I'm 63 years old, I'm tired, and I've been looking for a partner to take over the operations while I focus on expansion." I laughed, not because it was funny, because it was insane. "Mrs. Delacroix, I'm an administrative assistant. I answer phones, I file reports. I don't know anything about running venues." "You know more than you think," she said. "You know how to be invisible, and in this business, that's a superpower. The best venue owners are the ones who can see everything without being seen, the ones who notice when something is wrong, the ones who stand up for the people no one else sees." I was speechless. "Come to my office on Monday," she said. "We'll talk." She hung up. I looked at Liam. He was grinning. "You're going to take the job, aren't you?" "I don't even know what the job is." "You're going to take it." I went to the meeting on Monday. Margaret's office was above the Grand Meadows. It was a beautiful room with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. She offered me coffee. I accepted. "Here's the deal," she said. "I want you to be my operations manager. You'll learn everything. How to book events, how to manage staff, how to handle difficult clients. In 2 years, you'll be ready to run this place on your own, and when I retire, I'm selling it to you at a discount." "Why me?" I asked. "You don't know me." "I know that you sat on a curb in a beige dress and didn't break. I know that you walked away from a sister who tried to destroy you. I know that you have the kind of quiet strength that most people mistake for weakness. And I know that you're smart enough to say yes." I said yes. Over the next 6 months, I learned everything: how to read a contract, how to spot a red flag, how to handle a bridezilla, how to fire a bad vendor, how to make a venue feel like a home. Margaret was a hard teacher. She didn't give compliments easily, but she trusted me. She gave me responsibility. She treated me like I mattered. And slowly, I started to heal. Meanwhile, Elise's life was falling apart. I didn't seek out information about Elise, but information found me. My mother, desperate to reconnect, would call and update me whether I wanted it or not. "Elise and Marcus are fighting," she said 1 month after the wedding. "He saw the video of the storage room. Someone posted it online." "What video?" "The one from the venue security cameras. Someone leaked it." I didn't ask who, but I had a guess. "The comments are brutal," my mother continued. "People are calling her a monster. Her employer saw it. She's on administrative leave." I didn't feel bad. That's the honest truth. I didn't feel good either. I just felt nothing. 2 months after the wedding, Marcus moved out. The marriage lasted less than 90 days. The divorce was messy. Elise wanted half of everything. Marcus wanted the house. The lawyers got rich. The marriage died. 3 months after the wedding, my father had a heart attack. Not a bad one, he survived, but he called me from the hospital. The first time he had called me in years. "Clara," he said. His voice was weak. "I know I haven't been a good father. I'm sorry." "You're in the hospital," I said. "You're scared. That's not an apology. That's a survival instinct." He was quiet for a long time. "You're right. I'll call you when I mean it." He never called again. 4 months after the wedding, my mother showed up at my apartment, unannounced. Liam let her in. I was in the kitchen cooking dinner. "Clara, we need to talk," she said. "Then talk." "Elise is struggling. She lost her job, her marriage is over, she can't afford her apartment, she needs help." "She needs a therapist. I'm not a therapist." "Don't be cruel." "Mom, I sat at a bar at her wedding. She told me no one wanted me there, and you watched. You watched and you didn't say a word. You didn't defend me. You didn't even look at me." My mother started crying. I know, I made mistakes." "Mistakes? Mom, you've been making mistakes for 27 years. You've chosen Elise every single time. Every birthday, every holiday, every argument. And I accepted it. I accepted it because I thought that's what family did. But I'm done." "Done with what?" "Done with being the one who sacrifices. Done with being the one who blends into the wallpaper. I have a life now, a good life, a life I built without you, without Elise, without Dad, and I'm not going to tear it down to fix the mess you all created." My mother left. She didn't hug me, she didn't say she was proud of me, she just left, and I didn't cry. Section 7. The venue kicks her back. Estimated reading time, 11 minutes. 6 months after the wedding, I got a call from Margaret. "Clara, I need you at the Grand Meadows now." "What's wrong?" "Your sister just walked through the front door." My blood went cold. "What?" "She's here with a new fiancé, some guy named David. They want to book the venue for a wedding. A vow renewal, technically, since she's still technically married to Marcus until the divorce is final." I drove to the venue. My hands were shaking on the steering wheel, not from fear, from adrenaline. When I walked in, I saw her, Elise, sitting at a table in the lobby holding hands with a man I didn't recognize. She looked different, thinner, darker circles under her eyes. Her hair was dyed brown instead of blonde. She looked like she was trying to disappear. She didn't see me at first. I walked up to the front desk. Margaret was there, arms crossed, watching.
"Handle it," Margaret said quietly. "This is your test." I walked over to Elise's table. "Elise." She looked up. Her eyes went wide. "Clara, what are you doing here?" "I work here. I'm the operations manager."
She laughed, a nervous, hollow laugh. "You work here? At the venue where you humiliated me?" "Yes, that venue." The man, David, looked between us. "You know each other?" "She's my sister," Elise said. "The one from the video," I added. David's face went pale. He stood up. "Elise, you didn't tell me. It's not what it looked like," Elise said quickly. "It was a misunderstanding." I pulled out my phone. I pulled up the video. I played it without sound, just the image of Elise pointing at me, her face twisted with anger, me shrinking against the storage room shelves. David watched. His jaw tightened. "I have to go." "David, wait." "I'm sorry, Elise. I can't do this." He walked out. The front doors swung shut behind him. Elise turned to me. Her eyes were red. "Why did you do that? Why do you always have to ruin everything?" "I didn't ruin anything. You did. You ruined your own wedding. You ruined your marriage. You ruined your relationship with David. And you did it all by yourself. You're enjoying this," she spat. "You're enjoying watching me suffer." "No," I said, and I meant it. "I'm not enjoying it, but I'm not sorry either. You asked me to leave your wedding, so I'm asking you to leave this venue. You can't kick me out." "I can. I'm the operations manager, and this venue has a behavioral clause, remember? You violated it 6 months ago. You're on the blacklist. You're not allowed to book any event here, ever." Elise stood up. She was shaking. "You're a monster." "No," I said quietly. "I'm just someone who finally learned to say no." She walked out. She didn't look back. Margaret came up behind me. She put a hand on my shoulder. "How do you feel?" she asked. "Like I just closed a door I should have closed years ago." "Good. That's called growth." A year passed. Then 2. I bought the Grand Meadows from Margaret when she retired. I renamed it the Clara Rose. Not after myself, after my grandmother. The only person in my family who ever made me feel loved. She died when I was 12, but I like to think she would have been proud. Liam and I got married in the venue. Small ceremony, 30 people. All people who actually loved us. No mother, no father, no Elise. My mother sent a card. It said, "I wish I could be there. I love you." I threw the card away. Elise moved to a different state. I heard she got a job at a retail store. I heard she was in therapy. I heard she was trying to get better. I didn't reach out. Maybe one day I will, but not today. Today I'm still healing, and healing takes time. The last time I saw Elise was at a grocery store, 2 years after the wedding. She was pushing a cart. I was buying coffee. We made eye contact across the produce section. She looked at me. I looked at her. She opened her mouth like she was going to say something. I turned around and walked away. Not because I was angry, not because I was scared, but because I had nothing left to say. The silence was enough. If you're watching this and you've ever been the family member who doesn't fit in, the one who sits at the kids' table even though you're 30, the one who gets forgotten on birthdays, the one who gets invited out of obligation instead of love, I want you to hear something. You are not invisible. You are not a placeholder. You are not a mistake. The people who make you feel that way, they are broken, and you cannot fix them by shrinking. You cannot earn their love by becoming smaller, quieter, easier to ignore. I spent 27 years trying to earn a seat at a table that was never meant for me, and when I finally walked away, I didn't lose my family. I lost my chains. The Grand Meadows didn't kick Elise out because of a clause in a contract. It kicked her out because cruelty has consequences, always. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but eventually the universe balances the scales.
I'm not saying you should seek revenge. Revenge is a fire that burns the person who lights it. But justice? Justice is different. Justice is standing up and saying, I deserve better. Justice is walking away from people who hurt you. Justice is building a life so full, so rich, so beautiful that the people who abandoned you become irrelevant. Elise thought she was the queen of her wedding day, but queens don't need to humiliate their sisters to feel powerful. Queens don't need to point fingers and whisper insults. Queens build kingdoms. Queens lift people up. Elise built nothing. She tore down. And in the end, she was left standing alone in an empty venue, holding a contract she didn't read, facing consequences she didn't expect. I don't hate her anymore. Hate is heavy. I put it down a long time ago. But I haven't forgotten, and I won't apologize for that. Some doors need to stay closed, some bridges need to stay burned, and some family members need to stay in the past where they belong. My name is Clara Hayes. I'm 27 years old. I own an event venue. I have a husband who loves me. I have a dog who thinks I'm the greatest person in the world. And I have peace. That's the best revenge of all.